guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 9 o'clock on a Tuesday. It's time for the Magic News. That's right, we're back with another Magic News. I want to apologise for yesterday being no 5x5. I was travelling to Blackpool, which is where I'm at right now. I promise we'll get a Magic 5x5 out to you next Monday. Every other video this week should hit, no problem. So, if you're new to the Magic News, the idea is simple. I'm here in an Airbnb in Blackpool, but that is not going to stop me bringing to you all of the news that's happening in the Magic community. Now, if you have any news that you want me to talk about, I'm cool to do that. That's absolutely not a problem. All you have to do, leave a comment down below. Let me know what the news is. I'll talk about it next week. There's a stack of news. Normally, it's a quiet news month in August. Magic Live's out the way. Nothing really going on until September. But it's quite busy. There's a lot going on. In fact, we're going to get straight into it right now. We're going to go for the Magic News. Okay, so first off, let's talk about what's going on. And I think one of the biggest pieces of news in the Magic community right now is Richard Young and Alan Hudson on the Magicians Podcast Network interviewing Justin Flom and going hardcore on him and speaking to him specifically about his reasoning for exposing magic on social media. Now, if you don't know who Richard Young is, if you haven't heard of the Magicians Podcast Network, hello, you need to get onto this. So, Richard Young, years and years and years ago, did the Magicians Podcast. It was one of the most popular podcasts of all time. He interviewed some of the greatest magicians ever to exist, including people like Wayne Dobson, David Copperfield. The list goes on and on. Incredible. He then took a hiatus. If you don't know, Richard Young is very busy. He is one half of the incredibly talented Young and Strange, as well as owning Changing Cards, Bob Swadling's incredible card gimmick. The guy is busy, and yet so didn't really have time to do the podcast. Then a couple of years ago, it came back. Now, it's behind a paywall. You can get it on places like Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I think it's like £10 a month. I've been a subscriber since day one. And the reason I've been a subscriber is because it's incredible. Alan and Richard have great chemistry together, they really do. And they've interviewed some big names, and the name they've just interviewed is Justin Flom. Now, if you don't know who Justin Flom is, Justin Flom, I've talked about him on the channel a lot in the past. Justin Flom is well, many years ago, he was the darling of the Magic community. He was the person that a lot of people looked at as being the next big thing. He had hitched his wagon with Vanishing Ink and bought a few things out with Vanishing Ink. But what kind of set him apart, he was a very busy performer. He was out there performing at a very high level. And then at some point in the last 5 years, all that went away. He doesn't really perform magic shows anymore that we're aware of. And instead, he started posting very regularly on social media. And spend a lot of time kind of collaborating with Rick Lax. And Rick Lax and Justin Flom have been at Magic Live over the last few years, hanging out together. And a lot of the Magic community have grown to hate the stuff that Justin Flom does, because he is basically exposing magic and exposing illusions on social media. Now, he's not kind of doing the sort of thing that you see some people do, where he plays a trick and then goes and points and then it has an exposure video. It's not like that. But he is creating videos where he literally specifically will expose a trick in the context of some sort of prank normally. He's done it with many big illusions. And a lot of people are very unhappy with him. There's a lot of love-hate in the Magic community towards Justin Flom. Mainly hate, very little love. And he's kind of kept himself to himself until now, until the Magicians Podcast Network decided to interview him. And this is one of the best interviews that I have ever seen. So it's incredible. I thought Richard and Alan would go kind of soft on him. That's not the case at all. They went hardcore. In fact, I have to applaud both of them for how they actually handled this interview. And in a way, I have to kind of applaud Justin Flom as well for coming in there into what was quite a... it was not an easy environment for him to be interviewed in, and basically putting his point of view across, despite being, kind of having a lot of stuff thrown at him, for good reason as far as I'm concerned. It was a very interesting interview. Richard Young at one point said, look, I don't believe you. I think you're lying. I've spoken to your friends, and your friends say that you're in it for the money. You're saying you're in it for the art. I'm calling bullshit. It was a fantastic interview if you haven't seen it or heard it. Go out your way to watch it. But look, the bottom line is, Justin Flom, as far as I'm concerned, is not doing magic. He's not exposing magic tricks for the art. He's not exposing magic tricks for any other reason other than he wants to make money from exposing magic tricks. I've always thought that, and listening to this interview has made me even more convinced that the guy is doing this for one reason and one reason only, which is to make money from magic. He doesn't care about anything else. All he cares about is making money, which is a shame because a lot of his videos on his channel are actually really good. He's got some really great videos on there. He's got some great takes on stuff that has nothing to do with magic. But that's not what he's into. He's into, like you can make a lot of money. I mean, the amount of money that Justin probably makes from social media eclipses what he would make as a performing magician. Absolutely 100%. So, we know his reasons for doing it. We know where his ethics and his morals lie. But it's still a very interesting interview. And one of the take-homes that I took from it, the most interesting thing, is he said he doesn't have anything to do with Rick Lax anymore. And those two were like really tight. But he's right. I saw him at Magic Live. Well, I didn't see him. I saw him from across the dealer room. I wanted nothing to do with him. But he's normally, busy mates with Rick Lax, and Rick Lax was not there as far as I can see. So it's obviously something going on there, probably an argument about money, I don't know, pure speculation. But if you want to know Justin's reasons for exposing magic, if you want to know why he internally believes what he's doing is right and how he's saving magic, if you want to hear all of that, then go to the Magicians Podcast Network, and you'll be able to hear Justin Flom talk about why exposing magic is a good thing. Okay, so next up we have some information about Just Allen. So Just Allen, who is an incredible, name in magic for many, 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 many years, there is a book coming up on Just Allen's work that has been written over the last 5 years by Jay Fortune. So Jay Fortune has spent 5 years writing this book, and to give you an idea of how important this book is, Jeff McBride has done the foreword to the book, and I don't see Jeff McBride doing many forewords at all. So look, I don't know that much about Just Allen. I met him once many, 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 many years ago, but I don't really know much about his material, to be perfectly honest. But it's going to be very interesting. I'm very much looking forward to the book. I'm going to be ordering it soon. If you want to order it, you can get it from jfortune.co.uk, Jay's website. You can get it from there and download it from there. So that is the new Just Allen book coming out right now. Okay, let's go to the UK and let's talk about Mortenn Christian. Now, if you don't know who Mortenn Christian is, obviously he is the current world champion of Parlour Magic, having won that award at Turin, FISM 2025. Well, he's coming to the UK. Specifically, he's coming to the Curious Cabaret. Now, if you don't know what the Curious Cabaret is, Chris Wilder set up the Curious Cabaret over in sort of the Nottingham, Derby area, and regularly puts on shows with some of the biggest names in magic. And he's got Mortenn Christian coming over, headlining an incredible lineup, and it's going to be taking place over the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So if you go to the Curious Cabaret website, you're going to be able to buy tickets, you're going to be able to see where those locations are, and you're going to be able to see the full lineup. But Mortenn Christian will be in the UK on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, but also he's going to be here on the 1st of September. So on the 1st of September, Chris Wilder is hosting through the Curious Cabaret a workshop. Chris regularly does workshops for magicians on a variety of different subjects. He's got Mortenn Christian delivering a workshop on stagecraft and originality. Now, Mortenn Christian is a god when it comes to creativity. And honestly, how often do you get a chance to listen to a world champion talk about originality in magic? If you're wanting to become more original, if you're wanting to become more creative, if you're wanting to compete at FISM one day, then this might be a a workshop that you want to attend. All the details are on the Curious Cabaret website, and you can go and check that out right now. Talking about Mortenn Christian, he's also been added to another event, a little convention you might not have heard about. It's a little bit underground, the Session Convention. That's right, Vanishing Ink Session Convention is coming back in January, and they've already announced a huge lineup. Like a couple of weeks ago on Magic News, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I talked about the lineup as it stands, and I was like, the lineup for this is ridiculous. It's been headlined by Piff, the Magic Dragon, for God's sake. I mean, he's very rarely over in the UK right now. However, he's the headlining act along with a bunch of other people, but they've just announced a few more names as well. So, Jason England has been added to the lineup. If you don't know Jason England, he is one of the foremost experts on gambling and cheating and card techniques and so on and so forth. He's got a huge name in Magic. That will be very, very popular lecture, I imagine, for the session crowd. Then you've got Mortenn Christian. We just mentioned Mortenn, the world champion of Parlour Magic. He is going to be coming and delivering his lecture as well. He's released things through Vanishing Ink in the past. That'll be a great lecture to see. Pete McCabe is coming, who, as well as literally writing the book on scripting and how scripting is important in Magic, he is actually a Hollywood scriptwriter as well. So Pete McCabe is going to be there. And then finally, my partner in crime, the Robin to my Batman, the one and only Lloyd Barnes is lecturing. Now, Lloyd never lectures, mainly because he doesn't like to live Wales. He doesn't like to live Port Call, to be perfectly honest, but he is stepping foot out. He's going to the session. He's going to be lecturing at the Session Convention, January 2026. Now, I think this is probably only the third or fourth lecture that Lloyd has ever done. He never lectures. He never goes out there and lectures. He's always too busy, always got a million things on. And I know from speaking to him, he's going there on a mission. He's going there to make sure that he delivers the best lecture that he could with some incredible material. So check out that Lloyd Barnes Session Convention, January 2026. Honestly, that sealed the deal for me. It's going to be an amazing convention. So go and check it out. So if you are followers of Penn and Teller, that you will know that they've just had their 50th anniversary. Go check out their social media, Facebook and Instagram, and go check out some pictures. If you don't know, Penn and Teller formed 50 years ago at the Minnesota Renaissance Fair. And it's when they did their first public show. And it's been 50 years to the day since they first formed. And they went back to the Minnesota Renaissance Fair and they did their show again in the outfits that they wore the very first time they performed. Apparently, Penn was wearing the same pants that he wore all of those years ago. So yeah, it's kind of really interesting that they went back to their roots and they went and carried on performing. It just shows how much they love Magic, right? Because you don't have to do that. They're at the level now where they don't have to perform ever again. To be clear, Penn and Teller must be multi-millionaires. They don't have to do the schedule they do, the tours that they do. They don't have to do the nightly shows in Vegas that they do. They definitely don't have to go to a Renaissance fair in Minnesota just to do some Magic for people because they performed there for the first time 50 years ago. That they did. They're there. It's very exciting that they were there and they were kind of revisiting that period of their double act. So there you go. If you want to see some pictures, go onto the Penn and Teller social media and you can see some pictures of them performing to a packed house. Okay, so Alakazams have been teasing some huge news in the industry recently, and they haven't announced it yet. They're going to be announcing it soon, but having spoken to Peter Nardi, I have found out what that huge news is. Now, I can't tell you, I don't want to break that confidence, but you know, like sometimes things are teased in the Magic community, and you get told, oh, something amazing coming, and you're kind of like, well, really, is that amazing? Was it really amazing? This is actually great news for the industry. It really is. So Alakazam have some huge news. They're going to be doing something moving forward, which is really, really, really going to be a benefit to every single performer around the world. I don't want to say more. It's not my news to give, but this news is so exciting. I've even asked Harry and Pete if they'll do an interview on Magic TV to talk about it and the implications that it has on the Magic community. So look out for that news. It's going to be big. And while I'm at it, don't forget that the Magic, that Alakazam are having their first convention next May. First convention next May. Like I said last week on Magic News, Mark Spellman is the first act that's being announced. Now, there are limited seats because it's in a theatre, it's in a cinema, sorry, and so everyone's allocated their own seats. And when those seats have been allocated, you're not going to be able to come. So book a ticket to avoid disappointment is what I'm basically trying to say to you. But there you go. That's Alakazams. Huge news coming soon. The convention is coming in May. Let's move on to Penguin Magic. Okay, so I've got an inside scoop on Penguin Magic. I've got something very exciting to share. If you don't know, myself and Carissa Hendricks and Eric Tate last year did the Penguin Holiday Special, which was like a 4-hour video dropped by Penguin for free for all of the subscribers of Penguin and everyone else. Anyone could get it to say thank you to Penguin's customers. Now, this was a really stressful thing for me to do, I'll be honest with you, because one of my favourite magicians of all time is Scott Alexander, and the Penguin Holiday Specials, which starred Scott Alexander and Dan Harlan, were always the most beloved. You know what? I would have rather have spent Christmas Day doing watching the Penguin Holiday Special with Scott and Dan than I would like even hanging out with my own family. I love those, really, really did. And they had such an impact on the magic community. When I actually got involved with kind of the relaunch of the Penguin Holiday Specials, I was like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? I cannot stand on the show. I can't compete with Scott Alexander or Dan Harlan. No way can I compete with Scott Alexander and Dan Harlan. So I went in there with a mission to try and teach the best magic that I could do and just deliver some incredible magic for free to the entire community. And with over 100 5-star reviews, I think we managed to do that. Myself, and it was the first year that myself, Eric, and Carissa did it. We didn't know if there'd be a second year, but it was the first year that we kind of got thrown together, putting this thing together, and it was super fun. Well, I'm here to tell you that I have had official notification that the Penguin Holiday Special is back again this holiday special. We are actively right now coming up with ideas, we want to make it bigger, we want to make it better, we want to make it funnier, and from my point of view, I want to deliver even more powerful magic for free to say thank you to all of my fans, all of the people that have actually supported Penguin Magic as well as myself. I want to deliver the best Penguin Holiday Special of all time. I want to eclipse the one last year, and I know that Eric and Chris want to do the same thing again. So, if you're excited about the Penguin Holiday Spectacular, let me know down below. It is coming back, and it's going to come back bigger and better than ever before. Okay, if you've been following the socials for the Blackpool Magic Convention, and by the way, the hype levels for the Blackpool Magic Convention 2025 are at an all-time high. They really are. The Thursday, the first day, it's a 4-day convention this year. The Thursday is looking like it's going to be the most exciting thing ever. Like, I'm just really looking forward to Blackpool next year. I really am. Well, they have just announced on their socials that the one competition is back. So we had the one last year. We didn't have it the year before. We had it the year before that. I was guessing that it was going to be every other year, so I didn't expect to see the one competition this year, but it is here, it's back, they're announcing the one competition. If you don't know what it is, the idea is some of the best and biggest acts in the world compete to win £30,000. They've added something to the competition this year as well. You look at the poster, and it's like, hey, have a look at this poster and see if you can guess what's coming up, what's added to the award this year. All I can, and the poster is like a burning city in the background, and somebody there in the foreground silhouetted holding a prize, and then in the background, just in the corner, you can see a Las Vegas sign. So I think that they're adding something to do with Las Vegas. Maybe the winner gets sent to Las Vegas to perform. I don't know, but it's very exciting. The one, Blackpool 2026, is back bigger than ever before. I cannot wait. Very, very exciting news. Blackpool continue to hit us with news after news after news. This is going to be the best and biggest Blackpool of all time. Okay, just to remind you that on the 14th of September, you've got the one-day IBM convention in Hinckley in Leicester. Also, please note that on the 13th of September, I'm running my own not a convention, but I've hired a theatre in a place called Rugeley, which is just down the road from the IBM. It's about 45 minutes to an hour away. And I've hired a theatre, and Magic and Mischief, my son and my daughter, Ryland and Thea, are presenting the Magic and Mischief show on the 13th of September. There's a matinee performance from 3 till 5. There's an evening performance from 7 till 9. It's a family show. we have developed some brand new illusions, big illusions, some of the biggest and best illusions that you've ever seen, specifically for this show. We have gone all out on production quality. You would not believe it. And in the first half, you've got some of the biggest names, the biggest rising stars in Magic are going to be there. We've got people like Nia Evans, we've got people like Thomas Maloney, we've got people like Jay Blunt, we've got Jess Howard, who's currently doing the Jessammentary. We've got some incredible names a part of that show. So there's some exciting stuff coming up. 13th of September. If you're anywhere near the Midlands and you want to come and join us, I would love to have you there. I'll be doing close-up magic and teching the show, and I've got a few other roles there as well. But 30th, you can make a weekend of it. 13th of September, the Magic and Mischief show in Rugeley. 14th of September, the IBM one-day convention in Hinckley. So you can kind of do both if you want to, and have like a weekend of magic. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the tricks that have just been sort of thrown onto the internet. Now, these are not reviews. I have not got these tricks yet. I've just seen these are some of the newest releases to Magic. I've read the ad copy, I've watched the trailer, I'm giving you my first thoughts based on that. I don't know if they're going to be any good or not. This is not a review, but I will get to the review at some point soon. We've got a few things. So first of all, Penguin have released travelling ships. Now that one I do know about. I was demming that at Blackpool. Not Blackpool, I was demming it at Magic Live. I was demming it at FISM. It's sold out at FISM, sold out at Magic Live. It is a really strong trick. I know there's a bit of a debate on the Magic Cafe, as there always is, but it's actually a really, really, really strong trick. And if you see it live and in person, you realise how strong it is. And I know that because I demmed it to magicians at Magic Live over and over again, and it sold out at the beginning of the last day. Like, it's a really strong coin to cross with different coloured poker chips. And I added to the tutorial, I actually added my routine onto the tutorial as well. So you've got a whole bunch of different handlings on there. Something that a lot of people are talking about is the dice prediction by Crease Magic and Nakashima Kenga. Now, this seems absolutely impossible. The idea is that you have a picture frame, you have a dice, and they can put the dice in the little box any way up they want to. They don't check which way up it is. They don't know. You don't know. They then turn over the picture. It's completely hands off, and the picture predicts the number that they've named. Seems impossible. No idea how it's done. Very expensive, £350. £350 for this dice prediction, which is effectively a 1 in 6 prediction. And my issue with it is I can think of other ways of doing this where you don't have to spend £350. And I don't know whether this is a method that really kind of gets magicians excited because it's such a cool method. I don't know what the method is, but it looks impossible. We will see. I'm definitely going to pick this up so we can give it a full review, but that's dice prediction. Penguin have just brought out Elevated Matrix by Anthony Owen. Now, I spoke to Penguin about this. Anthony Owen passed away, unfortunately, a few years ago. He was one of the biggest names in Magic and was responsible for a lot of the big-name TV magicians getting their break through his production company, Objective Productions. He had before his untimely passing, he actually went to Columbus and actually filmed this. This is something that he's put in one of his books in the past, and he actually filmed this. This is a very cool version of Matrix, and it's called Elevated Matrix because the cards are elevated above the coins. And I don't know how this works, but from the tutorial, from the trailer, it looks like you can do it on any surface. Sound doesn't seem to be an issue. You're not actually covering up the coins. It looks impossible. It looks really good. I'm actually going to pick this up. I can't wait to get hold of this. And Anthony Owen was a genius thinker of magic. So I think this could be quite good. You've got the very best of John Carey, sorry. So John Carey, not John Carney, John Carey. You guys will all know John Carey. Huge name in the magic world, has been releasing books and material for probably the best part of 2 decades now. I would imagine that John has released more card tricks than anybody else I know, and this is the book of the very best of John Carey, when magic, mentalism, card magic, coin magic, absolutely everything is going to be inside that book. So if you're a John Carey fan, I know that his approach to magic is it's very simple, it's very direct. Although he can do the knuckle busting stuff, he tends to like a more simple approach, and that's why so many people love his work. Well, this is going to be chock full of magic by John Carey. Now, on top of that, the next thing we've got coming out is the DVK Pro by Steve Della. Now, if you don't know, Steve Della has released the Night Flight deck over the last few years, and there's been lots of different versions of the Night Flight deck. He's brought out Gaff decks, Invisible decks, Red decks, Elite decks, the original plastic deck, a whole bunch of different decks. Well, he's now brought out the DVK Pro, and the DVK stands for Della versus Quran. And basically, this is a 5-star Quran 101 deck or a Quran 101 deck. But there's a lot of advantages over a normal Quran 101 deck in that it's printed specifically for this. Normally, you'd have to get multiple decks to make a Quran deck. It's been created specifically for this, so the reveals are all the same. So it's going to allow different. It's almost like going to be allowing people to outsource their own reveals. Steve has got some great ideas for reveals, which he's going to be bringing out. But he's also marked it, so you're going to know exactly where everything is, dealing them face down, which normally isn't able to be done with a Quran 101 deck. So, it sounds very interesting. I've always loved Quran 101. Steve's Night Flight decks are amazing. His Pro decks are even better. So we're going to have to see how this looks, but it sounds like it's going to be great. Then Murphy's Magic have bought out the WGM card to wallet. Now, if you don't know, Murphy's bought out bought out L&L Publishing. So they bought the right to everything from L&L Publishing. And one of the things they bought is the world's greatest magic card to wallet, which is a collection of routines by some of the greatest magicians of all time, teaching their version of card to wallet. So Murphy's have decided to take all of that, put it onto a download, give people a wallet, and you've got your world's greatest magic card to wallet product. They've done this a few times now. They did it with Ring of Rope. They did it with Rope Magic. They did it with David Roth material. Now they're doing it again with card to wallet. The price is incredible. I think it's like £35-40 or something. And it's actually, which is really cheap for a wallet and like a couple of hours of tutorial teaching you the masters of magic and all of their favorite card to wallet routines. Seems like a no-brainer. If you're new into magic or if you're looking for a good card to wallet, I don't know about the quality, but the price is amazing, and I know the instruction is going to be fantastic. So there you go, there's that. Next up, there's a lot of stuff coming out this last week. Next up is the Charms deck by Nicholas Mavresis and David Jonathan. Now, David showed me this a couple of years ago, and it looked amazing. If you don't know what the Charms deck is, it's basically a bit like a tarot deck, but instead of tarot, it's based around lucky things that are lucky, like a horseshoe and a 4-leaf clover and so on and so forth. The cards are marked, they can be stacked, there's a bunch of features built in, as you would expect from Nicholas and David. There's a ton of routines. One of the things that Nicholas and David are great at doing is providing ongoing support when a product's come out. And as well as that, as well as Nicholas and David doing all of that as well, there's hidden reveals and everything. I can't wait to pick this up. I've been waiting to get this for the last couple of years. I think this could be very good. Last week we spoke about a couple of Adrian Vega tricks that had just come out. We've got a new one coming out now, Kid Canvas. Kid Canvas is what looks like a classic colouring routine, but close up, using blank cards. Don't really know much about this, but I've always liked colouring routines. And I think they're one of the best types of routines to perform for kids, and if you can make it close up, that's a super smart idea. You got Sponge Spiders by Murphy's Magic. They're continually adding to their sponge range. A few weeks ago, we got the sponge eggs. Now we've got sponge spiders, cute little black spiders. They don't look scary. They kind of look cute, but they've brought those out just in time for Halloween, which is a smart thing to do. And then finally, Nostalgia by Nicholas Mavresis and Alakazams. Nostalgia is like a multi-phase routine using cards that aren't ESP cards, but you can use ESP style routines with them, and there's incredible matchups and so on and so forth, and it's all based around toys, nostalgic toys, which is a great hook line. When you think of a hook line, hey, did you used to get these toys when you were a kid? Perfect. And Alakazams are doing a special offer where you can pick up Nostalgia and Toys by Myself, which is kind of a match made in heaven, and you can have the two of them together. So there you go, a whole bunch of stuff that's coming out. Let me know down below if you've picked any of this up and what you think of it. So there you go, guys. That's another video in the bag. Thank you once again for joining me right here on a Tuesday. Now back tomorrow again on Wednesday with a Craig and Riley review show. I think Thursday is going to be a Jessamentary. Friday we've got another video, and then we're into the weekend and we'll have a whole bunch of stuff happening over the weekend. Even though I'm at Blackpool, I'm still creating videos for you guys, so please don't panic. I will see you again soon. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below, and also, most importantly, don't forget to join the Netrix. It's my online streaming platform for magicians. Every week we have a VMC. There's thousands of tricks in there and thousands of sleights. And the VMCs, by the way, if you're a member of the Netrix and you've been coming to the VMCs live, thank you so much. I've been really enjoying doing some of those VMCs recently. So thank you so much. I will see you again soon. My name's Craig, and you have been watching the Magic News right here on Magic TV.